Thomas is not a king. He is not a knight. He is not a monk. He owns no land. He carries no sword. And no family is waiting for him inside the walls. He is just one of thousands who came to a medieval city, hoping that stone walls, busy markets, and church bells might offer something the countryside could never give him, a different future. Thomas is not special. That is exactly why his story matters. The kings of the year 1200 have already been remembered. Their names are carved in stone. Their wars fill the books. But the boy walking toward the city gates before sunrise, cold and hungry and afraid, has no statue, no tomb, no song. And yet, the medieval city was built by boys like him. This is one full day inside a medieval city in the year 1200. A day of noise, hunger, prayer, smoke, money, shame, work, fear, and hope, all trapped behind tall walls. We will see it through the eyes of Thomas, a poor teenage boy trying to survive his first day inside a world he does not yet understand. The road is still dark when Thomas reaches the foot of the city walls. He has been walking for 2 days. Behind him are empty fields, frozen ditches, and a small village where his future was already decided. A boy born to peasants in 1200 is expected to die in the same village where he was born, to work the same land, to pay the same rents, to be buried in the same churchyard. But Thomas wants something else. He has heard the stories about cities, stories about boys who walked through the gates with nothing and walked out years later as bakers, weavers, smiths, even merchants. Stories that may or may not be true. Now those walls stand right in front of him, thick, tall, silent, lit only by the small fires of the watchmen above the towers. Around him a slow crowd begins to form, carts loaded with firewood and grain, mules with sacks of wool, peasants carrying baskets of eggs, cheese and onions, a man holding a rope tied to a nervous goat, a merchant in a heavy cloak, rubbing his hands against the cold. They are all waiting for the same thing. The opening of the gates. Thomas owns a small leather bag, a wooden spoon his mother carved, a piece of dry bread, and the clothes on his back. Behind him is hunger, rent, and a life already written for him. In front of him are walls, towers, bells, smoke, and a promise no one can guarantee: work. He pulls his cloak tighter. He breathes into his cold hands. He waits. The first sound is not a bell. It is a heavy wooden creak, deep and slow, like an old animal waking up. Then a chain, then iron, then a voice shouting an order from above. The gates of the city open. The crowd begins to move forward, slow but eager, like water finally allowed to run downhill. Thomas is pushed gently along with the rest. He keeps his eyes down like his mother told him. Do not look bold. Do not look proud. Do not give the guards a reason to stop you. A guard glances at him, looks at the small bag, looks at his thin face, asks nothing, waves him through, and just like that, after 14 years of life, Thomas walks for the first time into a city. The first thing he notices is not the church tower. It is not the painted signs above the shops. It is not even the smell. It is the noise. Wheels turning over stone, hooves pressing into mud, metal striking metal somewhere down a side street, women shouting prices from windows above, dogs barking near a butcher's door, a child crying, a donkey complaining, and above all of it, the slow, heavy sound of bells beginning their morning round. The streets are narrower than he imagined. The houses lean slightly over the road, their upper floors almost touching above his head, blocking out most of the early sky. The walls are made of timber and plaster, painted in tired colours that have seen too many winters. Smoke leaks through small holes in the roofs. In the village, the world had space. Here, the world has been pushed together and stacked on top of itself. Thomas keeps walking. He does not know where he is going. He only knows he must keep moving. so he does not look lost. In a city of strangers, looking lost is the same as looking weak. He turns a corner and the first market square opens in front of him. Wooden stalls are being set up. Baskets are being placed on tables. A man rolls a barrel across the stones. Somewhere, a baker has already opened his door, and the warm smell of bread cuts through the cold air for a moment, then disappears. Thomas stops. He's hungry, tired, confused, and, for the first time in his life, completely alone. But he is also free. At least, that is what he believed when he started walking 2 days ago. In the village, Thomas had little freedom. He worked the Lord's land, he paid rent in grain, he could not marry without permission, he could not move without permission, he could not fish in certain rivers, hunt in certain forests, or even cut wood from certain trees. He came to the city believing that here, behind these walls, all of that would end. It does end, but something else begins. In the city, Thomas has another problem. Freedom costs money. He learns this very quickly. When he tries to drink from a public fountain, an old woman watches him carefully and asks where he is from. When he sits on a stone bench to rest, a man tells him to move because the bench belongs to a guild. When he asks where he can sleep, 3 different people give him 3 different answers, and all of them mention coins. A bowl of warm soup costs coins. A piece of bread costs coins. A place near a fire costs coins. A spot in a stable, sleeping next to animals, costs coins. Even crossing certain bridges, entering certain districts, or storing goods at certain warehouses costs coins. The city is built of stone, timber, and money, and Thomas has no money. His only chance is the same chance every poor boy has when he reaches the city for the first time. He must find someone willing to teach him a trade. He must find a master who will take him in as an apprentice. In a medieval city, an apprentice is not exactly a worker. He's closer to a member of the family. He lives in the master's house. He eats the master's food. He sleeps under the master's roof. He obeys the master in everything. In return, after years of hard labor, he learns a craft. And a craft, in 1200, is the closest thing a poor boy can get to a future. But masters do not accept just anyone. The city has rules. The trades have rules. The guilds have rules. And the rules are not written for boys like Thomas. Still, he must try. One door at a time, he begins to ask for work. The first workshop is a smith. Thomas hears it before he sees it. The hammer falling on the anvil sounds like a slow heartbeat made of iron. He stops at the open door and looks in. The smith is a tall man with thick arms, a leather apron, and a face darkened by years of soot. The fire in the forge glows orange against the dim morning. Sparks fly up like tiny stars and die against the stone floor. The smith looks up, does not stop working, does not smile. "Who is your father?" he asks. Thomas answers honestly, "A peasant from a village 2 days away." "Do you have a letter from your priest? A letter from your lord? A letter from anyone?" Thomas has none. "Do you have the entry fee?" Thomas does not even know what an entry fee is. The smith looks back at the iron in his hand. The conversation is over. The second workshop is a weaver. The loom clicks like dry wood breaking. The weaver is older, kinder in the eyes, but the answer is almost the same. Without a recommendation, without proof of an honest family, without coins to pay the small fee that masters charge to take in a new boy, there is no place for him. The third workshop is a shoemaker. The fourth is a carpenter. The fifth is a tanner, and Thomas can barely stand the smell. Each time, the questions are nearly identical. Who is your father? Where are you from? Who can speak for you? Do you have anything to offer? And each time, the answer is the same. Nothing. Thomas quickly learns a hard truth. In a medieval city, skill is not enough. Strength is not enough. Hunger is not enough. Every trade has rules. Every master has power. Every guild watches its own, and every stranger must prove that he is not trouble before anyone will give him bread. By mid-morning, the city no longer feels like freedom. It feels like a long row of closed doors. Thomas sits on a low stone wall behind a church and tries not to cry. He tells himself that one open door is all he needs. He just has to find it. He finds it because of his nose. The smell of bread pulls him through 3 narrow streets and into a small lane behind the main square. There, half hidden between 2 taller houses, is a low wooden building with a stone chimney leaking thin grey smoke. The door is open. Inside, a man with white flour on his arms is sliding round loaves out of a hot oven with a long wooden paddle. Thomas stands in the doorway. He does not speak. He just watches. The baker notices him after a moment. He sees the thin frame, the dirty cloak, the empty hands, the careful eyes. "You looking for charity, boy? You will not find it here." Thomas shakes his head quickly. "I am looking for work." The baker laughs once, short and tired. Everyone is looking for work, but he does not chase Thomas away. He turns back to his oven, slides another loaf onto a wooden tray, and speaks without looking. "Can you carry?" "Yes." "Can you wake before the bells?" "Yes." "Can you keep your mouth closed and your eyes open?" "Yes." The baker stops, looks at him again, longer this time. "I have lost my last boy. He stole from me. I do not know if you will be worse or only the same, but I will give you 1 day. 1. You sleep on the floor by the oven. You eat what I give you. You do what I say. If at the end of the day I think you are honest, we talk again tomorrow. If I think you are not, you walk back out that door and I never see your face again." Thomas nods so fast his neck hurts. To Thomas, the bakery smells like salvation. Warm bread, soft smoke, flour in the air, a roof, a fire, a chance. But the master is not offering kindness. He is offering a test. The first task is to carry a heavy sack of flour from the back room. The sack is almost as tall as Thomas. He nearly falls under the weight. The second task is to clean the cold ashes out of the oven. His hands turn black. The third task is to fetch water from a stone fountain 3 streets away in 2 heavy wooden buckets without spilling more than half on the way. Thomas does not spill. He does not complain. He does not stop. When he comes back, the baker glances at him for a half second and grunts. That grunt is the closest thing to a compliment a poor boy can earn before noon in a medieval city. By midday, the bakery is full of bread, and the master needs help carrying loaves to the market. Thomas follows him through the streets, balancing a wide wooden tray on his shoulder, trying not to drop a single loaf. The smell of bread floats around him like a small cloud. Hungry children stare. Thomas understands their stare instantly. 2 days ago, that stare belonged to him. They reach the main square and the market is alive. Stalls cover the open space in long, colourful rows. Cloth from Flanders, wool from England, leather from Spain, spices from far beyond any name Thomas knows. Salted fish in wooden barrels, fresh fish in wet baskets, cheeses stacked like small yellow towers, onions, garlic, and dried beans in heavy sacks, small clay pots full of honey, iron tools hanging from wooden frames, pots, pans, knives, needles, nails, even cages with live chickens, doves, and rabbits. Money changes hands everywhere. Men in dark robes test the weight of bags of grain on small scales. Women argue loudly with merchants over the price of cloth. A friar in a brown habit walks slowly through the crowd, asking for alms in a soft voice. A guard stands near a corner with a heavy wooden staff in his hand, watching everything without moving. Thomas sees more food in this single square than he has seen in his entire life. Bread, meat, fish, fruit, cheese, eggs, beer, wine. Enough to feed his village for a month, but most of it is not for him. He understands this without needing anyone to explain it. The The food is not just food in a medieval city, it is a map of who you are. White bread for the rich, dark bread for the poor, wine for the wealthy, weak beer for the workers, spiced meat for the merchants, boiled cabbage for the rest. Thomas helps the baker set up a small stall. The loaves sell quickly. People know this baker. In a medieval city, reputation is worth more than coin because reputation is what gets you coin in the first place. By the time the last loaf is sold, Thomas's stomach is twisting with hunger. The baker hands him a small dark roll, the kind that did not sell because it cracked in the oven. It is the best thing Thomas has ever eaten. In the city, hunger is not the absence of food, it is the sight of food you cannot afford. In the early afternoon, the baker sends Thomas to fetch water again. This time, Thomas pays more attention to the streets. The city is not a swamp of endless mud, the way some travellers told stories in his village. But it is not clean either. Water runs in shallow channels along the edges of the streets, carrying away whatever people throw out their doors. Animals sleep where children play. Pigs wander between the stalls, eating scraps from the ground. Dogs drink from puddles. Smoke hangs between the houses like a low grey cloth. Some streets smell of bread, others smell of fish, leather, soap, or burning wood. And a few streets, especially the narrow ones near the tanners and the butchers, smell of things Thomas would rather not name. He keeps to the drier side of the street. He watches where he steps. At the public fountain, a small line of women is already waiting. They talk while they wait. Thomas listens without seeming to listen. He learns more in 5 minutes of standing in line than in a whole morning of working. He learns that a baker on the east side has been accused of mixing his flour with sawdust. He learns that a fire broke out in a stable 2 nights ago and almost spread to a neighbour's house. He learns that the price of salt has gone up again. He learns that someone is sick in the lane behind the church, and people are whispering about whether it is something serious. That last piece of news worries him more than the others. In a medieval city, sickness travels faster than news. It moves from house to house through shared cups, dirty hands, bad water, crowded rooms, and tired bodies. There are no real doctors for boys like Thomas. There are barbers who pull teeth. There are surgeons who cut. There are old women who know herbs. There are monks who pray. But there is nothing that can stop a fever. Once it begins to walk through the streets, Thomas drinks from his own bucket only after letting the water settle. A bad cup of water can be more dangerous than a knife in an alley. The bells begin to ring while Thomas is still in the street. They start with one, deep and slow, from the tallest tower in the city. Then another joins from a smaller church, then another and another, until the air is filled with bronze sound, rolling over the rooftops like a wave. Thomas stops walking. So does almost everyone else. Some bow their heads, some make the sign of the cross. A few drop to their knees right there on the street with their baskets still in their arms. The bells are calling people to prayer. In a medieval city, the church does not just sit on top of a hill, it sits on top of the day. The bells tell the city when to wake, when to eat, when to rest, when to pray, when to mourn, when to gather, when to flee, when to hide. Thomas cannot read the notices nailed near the church door. He cannot read the carved words above the entrance. He cannot read the books inside, but he understands the bells. Everyone does. He follows the small crowd toward the great church in the center of the city. The building is enormous. To a boy from a village with a small wooden chapel, it is almost frightening. Walls of pale stone, high, narrow windows with pieces of colored glass, a heavy wooden door with iron bands, statues of saints staring down from carved spaces above the entrance, their faces calm, their eyes tired. Inside, the air is cooler, the light is dimmer, candles burn on iron stands. A priest in a long robe, walks slowly to the front. He raises his hands. He begins to chant in a language Thomas does not understand, but the rhythm of it feels older than any voice he has ever heard. For a few minutes, Thomas forgets the cold. He forgets the bakery. He forgets his hunger and his fear. He stands among strangers and feels, for the first time since he entered the city, that he is not entirely alone. The church does not give him bread. It does not give him work. It does not give him a bed, but it gives him a pause, a breath, a reminder that, in a world that mostly looks past him, something is supposed to be watching. Then the prayer ends. The bells ring again. The crowd flows back into the streets, and the city goes back to being a city. On his way back to the bakery, Thomas walks too close to the public square, and he sees something he wishes he had not. A small crowd has gathered in front of a wooden platform. A man is standing on it, his hands tied, his head bowed. A second man, in a heavier cloak, reads something out loud from a piece of parchment. Thomas does not understand all the words, but he understands enough. The man on the platform is a merchant. He cheated on his weights. He sold less bread than he charged for. He used a false measure to short his customers. The punishment is not death. The city does not need to kill him. It needs something worse in a way. His false weights are tied around his neck. He is forced to stand there, in plain sight, in the middle of the day, while everyone who knows him walks past and looks at his face. People throw soft scraps. They shout. They laugh. The merchant does not lift his head. Thomas understands the lesson immediately. In a medieval city, punishment is not hidden behind walls. It is performed in front of everyone, so that the shame can travel farther than the crime. A thief is not just a thief. He is a man whose face the whole street will remember. A cheating baker is not just a cheating baker. He is a man whose loaves no one will trust again. In a world without printed news, without portraits, without long memories on paper, reputation is built and destroyed in the public square. And once it is destroyed, it is almost impossible to rebuild. Thomas keeps his head low as he walks past. He just walks, fast, carrying his buckets, telling himself again and again to be careful, to be honest, to be quiet, to never end up standing on a wooden platform with a crowd shouting at his face. The afternoon at the bakery is long. The master sends Thomas back and forth. More water, more wood for the fire, sweep the floor, carry an empty sack to a neighbor, bring back a small bag of salt, wipe the table, carry hot loaves out to cool. Thomas does everything without complaining. He has been hungry, tired, and cold his whole life. The work itself is not what scares him. What scares him is the moment he might fail. That moment arrives near the end of the day. A customer comes in, an older woman with sharp eyes. She buys 2 loaves and asks for change. The master is busy. Thomas hands her the loaves. She pays. She walks out. A few minutes later, she comes back angry, saying she is missing a coin. Thomas swears he gave her the right change. He counted twice. He is sure. The master frowns. He looks at Thomas for a long moment. Then he looks at the woman. The woman repeats herself louder. She points at Thomas. She calls him a stranger, a peasant boy, a nobody. She asks the master if he really wants to start his afternoon by trusting the word of someone he met that very morning over the word of a customer he has known for years. For a moment, the bakery is silent. Thomas's heart is pounding. He understands exactly what is happening. One mistake, real or invented, is enough. In a city full of strangers, he has no name strong enough to protect him. He has no family in the streets. He has no priest who will speak for him. He has no master. Not really, not yet. Only one day, only one chance. He could lose everything in the next 30 seconds. The master looks at the small wooden box where the coins are kept. He counts them slowly. Once, twice. He frowns again. He looks at the woman. He looks at Thomas. Then he reaches into his own purse, takes out a small coin, and hands it to her. "There is your missing coin, mistress. You may go now." The woman opens her mouth, closes it, takes the coin, walks out without another word. The master turns to Thomas. He does not smile, he does not yell, he just looks at him with tired eyes. "I do not know yet if you are honest," he says, "but I know how to count, and the box was correct. I gave her that coin so she does not tell every neighbor on this street that I keep a thief in my shop. Reputation is more expensive than silver, remember that, always." Thomas nods. He cannot speak. His mouth is dry. The master goes back to his oven. Thomas goes back to his broom. And in that silence, between the warm bricks of the wall and the soft sound of the fire, Thomas learns the most important lesson of his entire first day. In a medieval city, the truth alone is not enough. You also need someone willing to stand with you when the truth is questioned. Outside, the light is beginning to change. The sun, what little of it can be seen between the leaning roofs, is sliding down toward the western wall. The sky turns pale. The shadows in the streets grow long, the air grows colder, the traders begin to fold their cloths and pack their stalls. The market square slowly empties. Dogs sniff at the leftovers on the stones. Children carry baskets home. A bell rings, slower now, marking the end of trade. The city is preparing for night. In a medieval city, night is not just the end of a day, it is a different country. The same streets become unfamiliar, the same houses look closed and unfriendly, the same neighbors become voices behind shutters. The same square that was full of people in the afternoon is empty and silent. By the time the moon appears above the rooftops, the main gates begin to close. Thomas hears the heavy creak again. The same sound that opened his morning is now ending his day, but in reverse. Inside the walls, anyone who was supposed to leave is now too late. Outside the walls, anyone who hoped to enter must wait until dawn. The city is shutting itself like a wooden chest. Watchmen walk along the top of the wall, their helmets catching the last of the sun. Lanterns are being lit. Iron bars are dropped into place across important doors. A few guards walk the streets with small torches, calling out the hour and warning people to be careful with their fires. Thomas stands at the door of the bakery and watches it all. He notices something he could not see in the morning. The city is afraid of itself at night. It is afraid of fights in the dark alleys. It is afraid of theft in the closed warehouses. It is afraid of strangers who slipped through the gates and never went home. It is afraid of drunken men spilling out of taverns. It is afraid, most of all, of fire. By day, the city belongs to merchants, bells, and bargaining. By night, it belongs to shadows, locks, whispers, and flame. The master closes the shutters. He sets a heavy wooden bar across the door from the inside. He checks the small back window. He walks once around the oven, examining every corner, every shelf, every loose piece of wood, every spark. In a medieval city, fire is the worst nightmare anyone can imagine. Thomas understands why almost immediately, just by looking around the bakery. The walls are wood. The roof beams are wood, the floor is wood, covered in straw. Outside, the houses on the street are made the same way. Roofs of dry wooden shingles, walls of timber and plaster, stables and storage rooms full of straw and hay. Inside, candles burn in small clay holders. Lamps burn with cheap oil, hearths burn in nearly every home. And in the middle of all of this, a baker keeps a hot stone oven that must never fully die during the night. A medieval city is, in many ways, a long row of dry wooden boxes built next to each other, with little flames inside. The master shows Thomas his sleeping place. It is on the floor, on a thin straw mat, next to the warm wall of the oven. He hands him a small wool blanket. He hands him a small piece of cheese and another piece of bread. "You sleep here," he says. "If you smell smoke, you wake me first. Not the neighbors, not the street, me. Do you understand?" Thomas nods. "Fire in this city is not an accident, boy. It is a sleeping animal. You do not poke it. You do not laugh near it. You do not turn your back on it. And if it wakes up in the wrong house, the whole street can burn before the bells finish ringing." Thomas listens carefully. He has seen fires in his village, a barn lost, a roof gone, but here in the city, with the houses standing shoulder to shoulder, he understands that one small flame in the wrong place could swallow entire neighborhoods, whole districts, sometimes in the worst nights, half a city. The master blows out one candle. He leaves another burning low in a small clay dish far from the straw. "Sleep," he says. "Tomorrow we will see if you can do this again." Then he disappears up the small wooden stairs into the rooms above. Thomas lies down on the straw mat. The floor is hard, the blanket is thin, but the wall behind him is warm, and the soft sound of the dying fire in the oven is the kindest sound he has heard in days. He closes his eyes. He does not sleep yet. In the dark, the city sounds different. The market is silent. The streets are quiet. The bells have stopped. But the city is not truly still. Thomas hears small things, a door closing somewhere, a horse breathing in a stable next door, a man coughing in a room above the street, a baby crying faintly at the other end of the lane, a woman singing softly to it, the slow steps of a watchman walking past, his lantern light moving through the cracks of the shutters and disappearing again. Then, far off, a shout, a short one, cut short by silence. Thomas does not move, he just listens. He thinks about everything that has happened to him in the last day. The walk to the city, the crowd at the gate, the opening of the doors, the narrow streets, the closed workshops, the smith, the weaver, the shoemaker, the carpenter, the tanner, the bread that pulled him toward the bakery, the buckets of water, the market, the bells, the church, the platform with the cheating merchant, the angry woman with her missing coin, the master and his decision to stand between him and a stranger, a whole life almost in a single day. He thinks about his village, his parents, the small house, the cold wind through the wooden walls, the fields, the Lord, the priest, the graves of his grandparents in the small churchyard. He wonders what they would say if they could see him here on a straw mat, near a baker's oven in a city of stone and wood, with strangers all around him. He wonders if they would be proud or worried, or both. His eyes start to close. Then he smells something. Smoke. It is faint, just enough to make his nose twitch. Not the clean, soft smoke of the oven behind him, which he already knows by heart. This is sharper, drier, a little bitter. The smell of wood that should not be burning right now. Thomas sits up. His heart starts to beat faster. He sniffs again. The smell is still there, maybe a little stronger. He remembers the master's words. "Wake me first, not the neighbors, not the street, me." He gets up. The straw whispers under his feet. He walks to the small stairs and calls quietly, careful not to shout. "Master! Master, wake up!" There is a pause, then a heavy step above. The master appears at the top of the stairs, half-dressed, a candle in his hand. "What is it, boy?" "Smoke. I smell smoke, not from the oven." The master does not argue. He does not roll his eyes. He does not tell Thomas to go back to sleep. He comes down the stairs without a word, walks to the door, and listens. Outside, the night is quiet. Then, somewhere down the street, a single voice, then another, then a small bell ringing fast and uneven, the way bells only ring when something is wrong. The master mutters something under his breath. He grabs a heavy wooden bucket. He hands one to Thomas as well. He opens the door carefully. The street is dim, but at the far end of the lane, against the dark sky, there is a faint glow. orange, low, moving. A small fire has started in a stable 2 doors down. People are already running with buckets. A man is shouting at the top of his voice. 2 boys are pulling a frightened horse out into the street. An older woman is throwing wet cloths over the wooden walls of the closest house, trying to keep the sparks from catching. The master joins the chain of people, passing buckets from the public fountain. Thomas runs with his bucket, fills it, runs back, hands it to the next person, runs again. He does not think, he just moves. His arms burn, his legs burn, his eyes water from the smoke. It is over faster than he expects. The fire dies before it spreads. The stable is half burned, the wooden walls black and broken. The horse is alive, the neighbours are alive, the houses on either side are alive. The street is alive. The watchmen arrive last, with their lanterns, and write down what happened. They will ask questions tomorrow. Someone will be blamed. A candle left near hay, a drunk man with a torch, a cold servant who slept too close to the fire. Someone will pay. But the city, this time, has survived. Thomas walks back to the bakery on shaking legs. The master walks beside him silent. When they reach the door, the master stops, looks at him in the darkness, and finally speaks. "You did well, boy. You woke me. You ran. You did not freeze." It is not a long speech, but it is more than Thomas has been told in years. He goes back to his straw mat. He lies down. He stares at the warm bricks of the oven wall. His clothes still smell of smoke. His arms still ache. His mind is too full to sleep. But somewhere inside him a small thought begins to grow, quiet, careful, almost shy. Maybe he will live through tomorrow as well. Slowly, finally, the city begins to truly sleep. The shouting fades, the bells go silent. The watchmen return to their slow rounds. The candles in the windows are blown out, one by one. The streets are empty except for shadows. The smoke from the burned stable drifts upward and disappears against the stars. Inside the bakery, the oven glows softly. The wall is warm. The blanket is thin but enough. The straw is rough but real. Thomas closes his eyes. He owns nothing more than he did at sunrise. No house, no title, no certainty, no coin, no name in the city's records, no place that anyone is reserving for him. But he has something he did not have outside the walls. One more day. In a medieval city in the year 1200, that is not a small thing. For a peasant boy, alone, with no family, no letter, no master, no money and no plan, surviving the first full day inside the walls is a quiet kind of victory. The kind no one writes about, the kind no song remembers, the kind that only the boy himself ever truly counts. He will wake up tomorrow before the bells, he will fetch water, he will carry sacks, he will sweep ashes, he will obey the master, he will keep his eyes open, he will keep his mouth closed, he will walk carefully through the streets, he will avoid the alleys, he will respect the bells, he will fear the fire. He will count every coin twice. He will remember the merchant on the wooden platform. He will remember the angry woman with her false missing coin. He will remember the smoke in the night. And slowly, day after day, year after year, if he is patient, careful, lucky, and stubborn, he might one day stop being only a stranger in this city. He might become an apprentice, then a journeyman, then perhaps, many years from now, a master himself, with his own oven, his own loaves, his own boy sleeping by the warm bricks of the wall. Or he might not. The city has buried thousands of boys exactly like him in unmarked graves, without any song and without any name. That is the truth of a medieval city in the year 1200. It was not a fantasy of bright banners and stone towers. It was not a clean place of polished knights and gentle ladies. It was noise, hunger, prayer, smoke, money, shame, work, fear, fire, and hope, all trapped behind tall walls. A place where every street was a test, every neighbour was a witness, every coin was a weapon, Every word could become a record. Every stranger had to prove, day by day, that he was worth keeping inside. For someone like Thomas, the city could become a future, but first, he had to survive it. And tonight, on a thin straw mat, next to a baker's oven with the smell of smoke still in his hair and the sound of distant bells fading in his ears, that is exactly what he has done. He has survived. One day inside the walls, the first of many if the city allows it, the last if it does not. In the year 1200, that was already enough to call a life.